Please write this down. I'm going to give you 13 concepts. I'm going to share with you these 13 concepts, and in my opinion, they will save someone's life. Concept number 1, dark circles under the eyes. Pancreatic demise. Write that down, please. Dark circles under the eyes. Pancreatic demise. Reference, chronic exposure to chlorinated, brackets, bleached, flour, sugar will be linked to centralized weight gain, gallbladder disease, pancreatic cancer. Dark circles under the eyes, pancreatic demise. Say that with me. Dark circles under the eyes, pancreatic demise. Gives you something to do when you're in the line at Walmart. Reference the chronic exposure to chlorinated, aka bleached, flour and sugar will be linked to gallbladder disease, centralized weight gain, pancreatic cancer. Are you guys good there? You let me know, and we'll go back on this stuff too. Number 2, vertical crease. Vertical crease. There it is right there. Vertical crease, rest in peace. Say that with me. Vertical crease, rest in peace. This is in reference to an earlobe anomaly associated with collagen cardiac collapse. And what you'll see here is collagen deficiencies will be linked to aneurysms, accelerated aging of the skin, joints, brain, and heart. Vertical crease, rest in peace. The really cool thing about this program isn't what happens on the scale. It isn't what happens to your waistline. It is when you begin to understand what you're dealing with internally and see these things reverse themselves. And that's what you'll see. That's exactly what you'll see. Really cool stuff. Vertical crease, rest in peace. You guys good with that? Here's your next. Long in the tooth, brain not so bulletproof. Say that. Long in the tooth, brain not so bulletproof. What does that mean? It means chronic exposure to fluoride. Where's my dentist? I had one in here before. I got so upset. Until you got them behind closed doors and they say they don't use that stuff at all. Not in their own lives. Chronic exposure to fluoride will be linked to early onset dementia, Parkinsonian diseases, and centralized weight gain. Long in the tooth, brain not so bulletproof. Chronic exposure, your big word there is fluoride. I'm going to teach you, I love food. I just don't want to look like I love food. Okay? Americans are being slaughtered, as are their children, not by our food, but what we've done to our food. There are companies that are choosing to change their processing of food because Because they have the same research I do. Reward those companies and punish those that don't care. How do you punish a company that doesn't care? Just don't buy from them. That hurts. Long in the tooth, brain not so bulletproof. You guys good with fluoride? Here's your next. If you're bloating, say this with me. If you're bloating, you're fat coating. Yeah, you're putting body fat on in the center of your body when you're bloating. Not when you're eating lots of food. When your body is triggered into an inflammatory state, and then you're stuck in that state, the body starts putting on centralized body fat. Not from the calorie, from the inflammatory response. Look at it again, guys. Chronic exposure to antibiotics. Chronic exposure to bleach, the chlorination process, will be linked to centralized weight gain, anxiety, early onset dementia, and attention deficit disorders. If you are bloating, you are fat coating. Your first 2 weeks in this program has nothing to do with diet or exercise. It is you are going to scan your environment for this crap and remove it if you care about your children, your husbands, and yourself. And just by doing that, you're going to have significant reward for the 3 hours you're going to have to spend with me. If you're bloating, you're fat coating. Antibiotics and bleached flours are linked to centralized weight gain, anxiety, early onset dementia, and attention deficit hyperactivity disorders. Bags under the eyes. Bags under the eyes. Adrenal compromise. Adrenal compromise. Chronic exposure to synthetic caffeine, not coffee. You are going to learn how to use any coffee drinkers in here? Oh, I bet. You're Americans, right? You are going to learn to use coffee to enhance your metabolism and enhance your probiotic health. There's nothing wrong with coffee. Just can't be dark roasted. I'll explain that to you in a little bit. Chronic exposure to synthetic caffeines. Where do you get your synthetic caffeines from? Unfortunately, your energy drinks are loaded with caffeine anhydrous, which is a synthetic caffeine. Unfortunately, many of your drugs have synthetic caffeines in them. Look what synthetic caffeines, oh, there it is again, bleached sugar and flour. Synthetic caffeines and bleached sugar and flour will be linked to kidney disease, kidney damage, low libido, bad on the romance, low libido. Back fat. Now, I'm from California. You know, I didn't know what back fat was. Out here, you Southern folk, you like fry up in back fat. Like, what's that, back fat? Oh, Dr. Potter, it's the best stuff in the world. Not when it's on you. That's this stuff right back here. Ladies. Ladies. Where does that back fat come from? It has nothing to do with caloric. It has all to do with synthetic caffeines and overstimulation of your adrenal glands, which then causes you to become chronically fatigued, depressed, and then that's where the body fat starts to develop right over the kidneys, unfortunately. This also leads to depression. Next, 8 is full of hate. 8 is full of hate. What is that reference to? Price lookup number, GMO, vegetable, and fruit. This is a deceptive strategy used by companies to hide the fact that their vegetable or fruit is GMO. I'm not for or against GMO. What I am against is the suppression of information because they feel you're too stupid or you will not purchase their product. That's their argument with regards to why people should not know if something is GMO'd or not. Well, you guys just aren't smart enough to understand that, and you'll probably make the mistake and think that's bad for you, and thus you won't buy our product. I have no problem with GMO foods, other than I'm not going to put them in my mouth or my kids' mouths. But this is how you discover if it's a GMO food. This is this deceptive marketing strategy. If it doesn't say what it is, if the price lookup number begins with an 8, it is what? 8 is full of?
8.
You scream that out at Kroger. 8 is full of hate! And they'll say, oh, you're one of those nutballs. Dr. Tom, no. Not that guy. Oh, do they ever? They'll actually be at our reunion. So 8 is full of hate. That's your price lookup number for GMO vegetables and fruits. Next, grazing leads to body hazing. I've actually heard physicians say this. Eat small amounts of food throughout the day. Small meals throughout the day every 2 hours. If you do, that is called grazing. If you graze, you will become like the other animals that graze. A 1,000-pound butt and a thimble-sized head. Is that what you're looking for? Keep grazing. Here's what I want to tell you, though. I'm going to teach you what are called windows of weight loss, which means you're going to go through a period of time where you're eating, and then there's a period of time that you're not eating. And if you just use that mechanism, you're going to lose a bunch of body fat. However, many of you in here right now are not metabolically strong enough to do that. And I will teach you how to get there. So this isn't a race. Next 2 weeks is about getting your ducks in a row. I'm with you every day. I will, through my team, through a system that will support you via email and on your phone. We will tell you, hi, it's time to do this. It's time not to do that. And it works every time. Every time. So, eating small meals throughout the day will lead to obesity and eventually diabetes. Grazing leads to body hazing. Next, 137. Write that one down. 137, straight ticket to heaven. Say that with me. 137, straight ticket to heaven. What is that in reference to? It is in reference to the recycle numbers on bottles and plastics. See it? There it is right underneath it. 137. You better know this. 137, straight ticket to heaven. That means if you are drinking out of a container, 137, you are poisoning yourself with dioxin, breast cancer, PBA, PBE, thyroid disease, adrenal shutdown, weight gain. Now, if you want that, keep drinking out of those type of containers. If you don't, 245, what does it do? Keep yourself alive. 245, keep yourself alive. By the way, what do you think Tupperware is? It's a 5. So Tupperware would be okay with it. If during the process of boot camp, you are going to be using very powerful cleansing agents that open up blood flow to your brain, your liver, your body fat, it's awesome stuff. However, what we recommend is you either drink our formulas out of glass or stainless steel. Tupperware's fine too. Tupperware's fine too. But remember, if you place it into a diseased environment, it is created to remove disease, to remove toxins. So if you're taking it out of a toxic bottle, you put our AM or PM blend into it, it's going to extract those toxins out, put them into what? Into you. Don't do that. Don't do that. Please, don't. It's getting, is it hot in here, or is it just me?
I'm warm.
It is warm in here?
Take your jacket off. It says 73.
It's probably just because the hot air is starting to flow. 137, straight ticket to heaven. 245, keep yourself alive. Keep that in mind, guys. Teach that to anybody you care about. Dementia dots. Write that down. Dementia dots on the back of the hands, not freckles, redheads. You think you're going demented like a 1-year-old. Dementia dots, I got one right here on my hand. I used to have 16. Now how did they disappear? What I'm teaching you guys, it works. It cleanses you at a cellular level, and then things start to disappear. Evidence that you've been damaged internally, if it's repairing internally, will also externally remove itself. That's a sign that this process is working. Is that making sense? Okay, so chronic use of acetaminophen will be linked to early onset dementia. So what I want you to do when you go down this list, I just want you to circle the actual substances that you need to start considering removing from your systems. Acetaminophen, that's an anti-inflammatory, all right? A very common anti-inflammatory. Unfortunately, it reduces glutathione levels. Glutathione level. What is glutathione? Does anybody know? It's an amino acid that protects you from poisoning, amino acid that helps you battle in cancer situations, amino acid that if you have tried to kill yourself with a poison, we give it to you in the hospital. We actually put it in a drip. For my medical people, they know exactly what I'm talking about. It's glutathione. Glutathione costs $1,000 a kilo. Glutathione cannot be absorbed in the human stomach. So it's got to be put through an IV to really get it into your system. Or you can take a sequence of minerals and amino acids and it converts over to glutathione. Guess what's in your blends? We'll talk about that in just a little bit. We're making this easy for you, not harder. This isn't going to blow you away. This is going to become a very simple life, and you are going to see results with a simple approach. Because if it's more than simple, you're not going to do it because you're already fried, correct?
Right.
If I give you too many things to do, you won't do it. It doesn't work. You need a simple approach, and that's what we're going to do. So this first 13, 15 minutes is rough. I know it is. So don't fret. Just start looking at this stuff. You see those avocados? You guys have guacamole out here. I'm from the land of guacamole. Right? California, I get down to Mexico as much as I can. Does anybody know how to preserve guacamole so it doesn't turn nasty? What? Lemon juice. You can actually spray it down with lemon juice and leave the pit in it. All right? So this will turn really nasty brown. You see that right there? That's a fresh, plump human brain. You see next to it? That's a shriveled, damaged human brain. That's what Alzheimer's and dementia looks like when we break them open and look at the brain. Did you know that? There's a huge difference in a dementia patient's brain and a healthy corpse. It is guacamole that's gone bad. So how do you stop guacamole going bad? You just told me. Spray it down with lemon juice. So how are you going to stop that brain from going bad? Spray it down with lemon juice? Soak it in tequila? No. That's not what you're going to do, Vanessa. No, that's not what you do. Here's what you do. You soak it in glutathione. I just told you, that's $1,000 a kilo. Can't get it in your body. We're going to create a system of eating and formulations that is easy to do that will send your glutathione levels to the roof. You think that might help you? It sure will. It sure will. Not only preventing dementia or reducing the chance of it, but also helping you heal and preventing cancer in the future. This is what we're trying to do with you guys. Yes, it's cool to have six-pack abs and tight buns of steel. That's all good. But I want your internals to be exceptional too. Nothing wrong with looking good though. If it doesn't say unbleached, write this down, bad boy. If it doesn't say unbleached, it's bleached. It's bleached. That's crucial. You see that right there? You see what it says right there? Circled, unbleached. That's what you're looking for. Currently, Nature's Own. Write that down, circle it. Banderita. Currently, underline the word currently. Because I have found that companies change when they're sold to another company. They will change their philosophies and sometimes change their morality. Did you know that?
Yes.
I figured you did. You've been in America long enough. So, if it doesn't say unbleached, it's bleached. I am going to have you start removing bleach from your children's systems. If you're willing to do that, you're going to protect them from obesity. Just that. You will protect them from pancreatic disease and, in my opinion, pancreatic cancer. And you will allow their brains to start firing on all cylinders. That's the cool thing about this. Currently MBC friendly, Nature Zone, La Banderita. Tortillas. Say this with me. Long finger, cardiac stinger. Long finger, cardiac stinger. Yeah, I'm just looking at the hands. Wait a second, what does that mean? All right, here's what it means. Toxic womb syndromes are evidenced by abnormalities of the hands. In this case, a longer ring finger as opposed to the yeah, go ahead and look. As opposed to your index finger suggests that you are a baby from a toxic womb. What does that mean? It means fructose will kill you. Do you know what that means, George? It means if you drink orange juice on a regular basis, you're going to block an artery. Huh? I thought orange juice was good for me. I thought oranges were good for me. I thought fruit was good for me. Is fruit good for you, Eve? Turns out, if you have a long finger, it isn't. It's one of the things that's going to trigger you to have heart disease. And you'll go to the doctor and you'll be found to have high cholesterol and high triglycerides, and guess what they'll go after? They will go after eggs. They will go after fatty foods, and it has nothing to do with that. And then you have your stroke and your heart attack, and everybody says, oh, you're just genetically messed up. That is not true. You had a toxic womb syndrome. Yes, we can blame mom. It's so easy to blame her. In fact, I get to blame her in just a second for all of my problems. Fructose, write that down. Fructose triggers heart disease in this person. That's really important. You can save somebody's life by that. That's not common knowledge, though. A lot of the things you're hearing right now, nobody else hears. Nobody else hears. Short ring finger, cancer dead ringer. Short ring finger, cancer dead ringer. That's a scary one, isn't it? You are looking at the ring finger, you are comparing it to the index finger. What this means is the person had a toxic womb syndrome, so they were altered intra-womb, their genetics were changed, and one of the changes is if you put soy into this person, it will trigger cancer in them. Short ring finger. Short ring finger. Cancer dead ringer. By the way, don't get cryptic about this. All of these things can be changed, and here's how. Too many times we get stuck in genetics are this unrelenting destiny. Genetics are not destinies, they're tendencies. You can modify and manipulate, unfortunately usually negatively, to express negative genetics or what we call dark seed in your body. Things that have been expressed in your family. You guys already know what's going on with your mom and dad, grandma and grandpa. But you can also suppress the dark seed. And that's what we're going to teach you how to do. Not only suppress the dark seed, we can activate the light seed. If you want to. Soybean triggers cancer in this person. You guys are doing good. Some have called me a metabolic genius. I'm cute, aren't I? I'll let you be the judge of that. This is the paste that you'll make up and begin to brush your teeth with.
Why are you massaging your neck?
Most lymphomas develop over the clavicular region and pop up overnight. That's the scary thing about a lymphoma. If you learn to mobilize your lymphatics as you're brushing your teeth with this detox substance, it is significantly reduced the chances of lymphoma, leukemia potentials, as well as incredibly enhancement of your immune system.
See, I didn't ever do that.
Of course you didn't. That's why you get sinus infection.
It does. I do too. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay.
You're not all going to be able to do all of this.
Oh, wow.
Is that your nighttime
I say I
routine?
didn't-
Oh, that's my morning and nighttime routine. And my wife looks at me and she goes, "You are strange." I said, "Baby, how long did it take you to figure it out?"
Oh.
Is that you?
Oh no! The doctor looked at me, then my mother, and said, "Thank God, Carol, this was not your first child. You'd never have another one." I was a mess as a child. No. So I'm sitting at the local ice cream pub with, at the time, my gorgeous blue-eyed 4-year-old angel. Now, I'm not sitting in there eating a tofu-infused low-sugar yogurt in a cardboard cup. Oh no. It is a double scoop cappuccino crunch in a waffle cone dipped in chocolate with sprinkles. And I'm sitting in there with my beautiful daughter, and we're having a grand old time. In walks Mr. and Mrs. Metabolic Boot Campers. And I'm in big trouble. I am caught chocolate-handed. He drops 57 pounds on 16 cycles of the course you're on right now, or will be in. That's 16 weeks, by the way. No exercise. Hypertensive, off all his meds. Statins, off all his meds. He's doing fantastic. And he sees me. What was really cool about his case, he had been obese all of his life. He didn't know what he could be. He had always been covered with inflammatory byproduct. So he comes into me, and this is in the office here, not at the ice cream shop. And he goes, "Dr. Botter, man, I'm feeling great. I'm off all my meds. I'm doing wonderfully. But I got a problem." I said, "What's your problem, brother?" "I think I got a tumor." I said, "Well, this program is actually made to create an environment that does not nurture tumor tissue. So I doubt it." He goes, "No, I got to show this to you. Come into this room." I said, "Uh-oh." So he lifts his shirt up. And he shows me. He had been obese all of his life. He had never seen his abdominal muscles before. I said, "Brother, it's not a tumor. It's your abdominal muscles." And I mean, he was hilarious. He was hilarious. Anyway, I'm in big trouble now. She was an amazing story as well. Hashimoto's. Anybody knows what that is? It's a terrible thyroid disorder. You can't lose weight. You can stop eating and gain weight. You'd be amazed how many people are dealing with hormonal dysfunction and damage to their adrenals and thyroid and ovarian systems. And we're going to focus on those things, getting them healthy, not weight loss. And when you do that, you have weight loss. And that's our goal. So she is just in heaven with her results, too. Now, she was still on her thyroid meds, but she needed less of them. She had then began to drop weight, and she was at, I want to say, 37 pounds of weight loss, feeling fantastic. With the thyroid disorder, she had a lot of pain. All gone. All gone. So they're happy, you know. Oh, look, there's Dr. Tom. Now, I told you people think I'm a metabolic genius. That is a very flimsy facade. Because what's really true about me is I'm a morbidly obese man trying to escape this amazing prison of beauty and lean body mass. I can't wait to get out. That's what I really am. They think I'm a metabolic Moses. In fact, I had a woman come in here. Her husband had a high thoracic aneurysm. This high thoracic aneurysm could kill him, but it was in an area that he could not have surgery. He goes on this program, or a similar program, the one you're going to be going on. And his blood pressure comes down, and his cholesterol level comes down, and his body fat comes down. But what blew him away, every 6 months he had to have a CT scan because the physician was very concerned. This thing can rupture, he's dead. Lo and behold, it disappeared. It disappeared. On CT. So his wife's in here in a full room of people. She comes in and says, Dr. Botter, you have cured my husband. You, Dr. Botter, walk on water. And I said, of course I do. Knowing very well that the only water I walk on is when I miss the toilet and pee all over the floor. But to these people, this is the most amazing man ever. And now it's all coming to an end. My facade will be ripped off of me. I will be shown for the true person within. But this is when the 6 words that were uttered into the universe changed my life forever. The 6 words that changed my life and yours forever. My little girl looks back and sees him coming. And she looks at me with those baby blues and says, Daddy, give me the ice cream cone. There comes a moment in a man's life that his soul is filleted like a fish. And this was my moment. Would I throw my 4-year-old under the bus of public humiliation and judgment? Or would I accept the brutal truth of what I truly am? Do you know what I did? Do you know what I did?
You gave it to her.
Of course. I gave her the answer. My metabolic reputation is intact. Ladies and gentlemen, you see what it says right there? It's about protection, not perfection. We are going to fail. Enjoy your failure. Enjoy your foods. But when you do, I'm going to teach you how to not clog an artery or damage your brain or feed tumor tissue in your body. That's what we're going to do. And it's so simple and so easy when you begin to understand how this process works. It is not about protection, about perfection. It's about protection. So let's find out. Welcome to Metabolic Boot Camp. My name is Dr. Thomas McLeod Botter. I love creating metabolic programs for people who find themselves in very severe situations, whether they're in cancer, diabetes, neuropathy, or chronic pain. What I love the best about what I do is not only getting them from pathology to a cure, but moving beyond the cure to their potential. And then some of them move from their potential to the pillar of their society, community, and family. Moving from the weakest to the strongest. I always used to get sick. Now I never get sick. I never had energy. Now at 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock at night, I got all the energy I need. That's what I want for you guys. I want you to be next. And I am going to point you in the right direction of this in this process. Back to original design. Who's gone on a diet in here and regained all the weight? Anybody? Yeah. Most of us. Most of us, ladies. Yeah. Most of us, gentlemen. Let's not do that again. Let's not do that. Here's why. It turns out if you regain the weight, you actually do more damage than if you just remain heavy. So just remain heavy. All right? Now you're like, no, I don't want to just remain heavy. I want a better life. I know there's a better life for me. We need to do it right. And it's going to take a complete flip of the way you look at body fat. The two worst possible things you guys can do to try to get your bodies into shape are diet. 96.8% of all diets fail. So why bother starting them? Rebound weight gain is much worse than remaining heavy. We've already shown that. There's research to prove it. Low-carb diets are now linked to thyroid disease. Yeah. Low-carb diets. Low-carb, what a horrible thing. We love to villainize, don't we? We blame the egg. Now we blame sugar and cholesterol. Stop blaming those things. There's nothing wrong with a carbohydrate. There's nothing wrong with it. It's what's inside the carbohydrate that you got to watch out for. High protein diets linked to bone disease. Dr. Atkins was a genius. He understood the combination of fructose and its effect on the liver processing of lipids. Guy is a genius. But his program was never made for common consumption. It was made for pre-surgical, morbidly obese patients that were bedridden. We've taken his mechanism and forced it upon ourselves for chronic exposure, prolonged periods of time. We're getting more and more disease. Ketogenic diets are now being linked to kidney disease. Do you know if you tell a physician that I'm producing ketones, they are terrified? Do you know if you tell a ketogenic dieter that they're producing ketones, there's a celebration? Did you know that? That's how it is. Now, I'm not against any of these mechanisms. They're actually, the people behind them are rather intelligent. But the application of something in balance causes more imbalance in the future. And it is not sustainable. So why bother starting? What's the second thing that leads to weight gain? Exercise. To my CrossFit people. Do you know that most of my morbidly obese patients were excellent athletes? Did you know that? Now, why would an athlete be prone to morbidity, obesity? Why? Because if you use exercise to maintain your weight and blow out a knee, guess what happens? You put all your weight back on, and more, right? If you use exercise to manage your weight and husband loses job, your job accelerates, mom gets sick, and you now have to have 2 jobs. You know where I'm going with that. And you stop going to the gym. What happens? You put all your weight back on, correct? This program, you are forbidden to exercise. The couch potatoes unite. I'm not anti-exercise. And some of you are on exercise protocols right now. Stay on them. But you do not need exercise to get to the lean body mass that you need. I will show you how to do that. Hey, I got 6-pack abs. My pecs are harder than Chinese arithmetic. Huh? Do you know how much time I spend in the gym? 0. 0. I will show you how to create a physique that you will like when you look in the mirror without exercise. And then, on a level 4, you guys are doing a level 1, I will show you how to do 3 minutes of exercise before you get out of bed in the morning. Don't go there. Before you get out of bed in the morning and be done with your exercise routine. Huh? Yeah, absolutely. That's sustainable. I know where you guys are. Exercise increases renin levels, leading to increased appetite and obesity. Go work out and see how you feel afterwards. You're starving.
Hungry.
Absolutely you are. And you are programming yourself to be hungrier and hungrier. Very poor ROI regarding VBF removal, visceral body fat or centralized body fat. Impossible to maintain exercise levels due to massive weight gain with injury or lifestyle mods. What is this? Oreos, right? No, that's 72 minutes of hardcore cardio. Why bother? Who's going to eat 2 Oreos anyway? It's going to be the whole blooming pack. Come on, let's be real. All right? So, let's just enjoy the Oreos. But I'm going to teach you how to clean it up afterwards. Stop exercising for weight loss. You are programming yourself for future fat formation. Most of my morbidly obese patients were exceptionally lean athletics before something happened. And guess what? Something's going to happen. That's life. So, if we don't diet and don't exercise, but know that being overweight is damaging to our body, what do we do about it? Visceral body fat. This is what research shows centralized body fat can do to you. I want you to take your bioscreens out. I want you to go down to the final quarter of the bioscreen. I want you to circle trunk fat in pounds. That is the amount of body fat that is accumulating in the center of your body that is known as VBF. Do you see that number? That number should be somewhere between 6 for the males and 12 for the females. Yeah, don't worry about it. It's a starting point. Hey, listen, I got people in here that are walking in here with 100+ pounds of VBF, so don't fret about it if you're not 6 pounds VBF yet. I'll get you there on this program. All right? Did you guys find that number? It's at the lower quadrant, all the way down where it says trunk body fat. It says trunk body fat in pounds. Do you see that number? Circle.
It doesn't say that exactly.
Yep, that's what you're looking for, fat mass.
What was the number?
For the female, we'd like that somewhere between 10 and 12 pounds. For the male, 6. Now, you guys are shaking your heads. You're like, oh man, I'm dead already. Why don't I just go over to Wendy's and have a good old time and just go over to Okies? No, don't go home. Just drive on over to Okies right now. Listen, guys. If you knew me before this process, you would have hope. You would have hope. It's as simple as that. There is no one in this room more pathetic than me. I'm planning to cheat on this diet right now. But it works within a real life, and it's sustainable. Okay, you guys found that number? Here we go. Link to cancer, link to dementia, link to heart disease. More than 6 pounds of torso VBF is actually soon to be classified as pericancer or pre-tumor tissue. Isn't that fun? Look at your bioscan. Research shows VBF surrounds the organs to be attacked. VBF steals nutrients from vital organs. VBF stifles the organ's blood supply. VBF suffocates the organ's ability to rid itself of toxin. VBF seduces the organ to join the dark side. You know what that means? Cancer. Cancer. That's what research shows. So wherever your body fat is accumulating is where you potentially will develop cancer. Do you want to know where you're going to develop cancer in the future? Do you? Seriously? You're going to find out right now. Look at your bioscan. Again, Where is the BBF accumulating in your body? So here's how you do that. Look at the top. Look at the top of it. Percent body fat. That is your generalized percent body fat. So, that might be a number like 30. Then you look at what your arm percentage is. Look at that. Look at that. Look at your leg percentage. Look at that. And look at your middle trunk percentage. And now I'm going to give it to you. You guys ready? Write this down if this is you. Lower body estrogen-linked diseases. So if you are accumulating a higher percent in your legs than your top number, you are prone to ovarian cancer, prostate cancer, colon cancer, stuff down here, guys. Stuff down in the pelvis. Because that means you're being affected by a toxin and your body fat is accumulating around the organ that's being damaged.
Can you repeat that, please?
Sure. Absolutely. We are looking at where your body fat is intensifying itself on your body. We are looking at where your body fat is accumulating. All right? Some of you have more body fat in your lower body, in your legs, than you do as your overall general number. You guys get me on that one? So let's just say my top number is 30%, but down in my legs, I've got 38%. What does that tell me? More body fat is accumulating below my waist. That means you were damaged by estrogen as you were being created, and your body is affected by estrogen. Is that making sense? Is that helping you guys? Here, check this one out. Trunk. If your trunk number is highest, write down cortisol insulin diseases. Guys, you're in this program to not have this happen. But it's important to, we're going to provide you a map back to your original design, which is a pretty cool place to be. But you need to start your map where it says you are here. You ever been looking at a map and it says you are here? That's what you're getting right now through this bioscan. So don't fret about it. This is not where you're going to end up. It just happens to be where you're starting. This is your starting point. You are here. So if your trunk percentage is higher than your overall percentage, write this down. Cortisol insulin diseases. And you can Google those. No, don't Google them. It'll scare you. Upper body, testosterone diseases. So if my percent body fat, generalized percent body fat is 30, but I've got 40% on my arms, do you know what that tells me? It means I'm prepping up for a heart attack. Testosterone diseases, yes ladies, you can have testosterone diseases. That is a prep up for a heart attack. All right. You guys good there? Is it getting too cold in here for you? All right, I'll see what I can. I'll just start talking. So what are we going to do? We find ourselves in a dilemma. Diets aren't the way to go. Exercise is not the way to go. But some of you are finding out, whoa, I've got way more than 6 pounds of body fat inside of me. That's not healthy either. What can I do? Stop dieting. Stop exercising for weight management. You are programming yourself for future fat formation. So if diet and exercise won't work, what do we do? Totally new way of looking at weight loss. This is a whole another way of looking at weight loss. We are told that fat is disgusting, right? You look in the mirror, cellulite and all that nasty stuff. We call it all sorts of nasty names, don't we? Man boobs, beer belly, muffin top. Muffin top. Muffin top, okay. Cellulite, right? It's just nasty. We are told that fat is dangerous. I just went through a bunch of research on how it's linked to all this stuff. VBF is linked to cancer, dementia, stroke, heart disease. We are told that fat is divisive. Did you know that? If you don't, you need to know it. Here's some ugly data for you. Wage discrepancy. Unfortunately, ladies, this really affects you. If you are found to be 13 pounds overweight, you will make, on average, $9,000 less in the same job as a woman that is 13 pounds lighter than you. $9,000 doing the same job. Double travel expenses. By reducing airplane seats to 19.5, has anybody noticed? Oh yeah, you have. And with the airline industry logistically just doubled the cost for a larger person to fly. Do you know why they were doing that? Because they don't want larger people over 200 pounds to fly. They just don't want you to fly. Denied access to medical procedures. Overweight people are being denied access to surgical procedures by the larger insurer, claiming that the surgery will fail. Just simply not. You're not going to have your knee replacement. You're not going to have your hip replaced. There's no reason that we do any type of surgical procedure on your heart. And this is exactly what's happening. Fat tax on the horizon. Be ready to include your BMI on your tax forms and suffer a fat penalty if you do not fall in optimal range. You know I'm classified as obese on that BMI? I'm 8% body fat right now. 8% body fat. That's not bad, all right? But I'm classified as obese, overweight on the BMI because of my stature and my density. I'm very thick-skulled. Ask my wife. ICD codes will soon make you and your children unemployable. An ICD code is if you ever have gone to a doctor and have had insurance billed. Anybody in here gone to a doctor? Anybody in here have had insurance billed? You have an ICD code on the cloud. You are identified by an ICD code. If that ICD code is diabetic, obese, cancer, precancer, in the future, you will not be employable. You want to know why? Because in your pre-employment interview, all of your data is now available. And employment will not occur to somebody who has the potential of being a loss. That's how it's working. Sorry, you guys are looking at me like you're sad or something. You guys are aware of this stuff. It's already going on. It's already happening. Oh, let's not go to date of birth. Let's not go to what they're doing to us when we get to a certain age. I won't even talk about that. That's a whole other class right there. You're pretty much on your own. You know. What if we had it all wrong? What if everything I said about body fat was wrong? What happens if body fat actually turned out to be your best friend? Yeah, you're laughing, right? But what if I was to tell you that your best friend stepped in front of a bullet that was headed for your heart, stepped in front of a bullet that was headed for your liver, stepped in front of a bullet that was headed for your ovary, and she is now strapped herself on that organ and is protecting you from that bullet that is still trying to penetrate her and go into your vital organ? How about if I told you that? That doesn't make any sense, does it? It's exactly what's happening. Exactly what's happening. I want you to start looking at body fat a little differently than you do now. What happens if it turns out fat is actually your friend? Huh? Well, let me show you something. The human body is liquid. I want you to think of yourself as fluid. There is a gallon, over a gallon of blood in your body. There is a gallon of lymphatic fluid in your body. That's helping you with your immune system. That's keeping things flowing. There is over a liter of what is called centralized CSF, centralized spinal fluids. So cerebral spinal fluids are flowing in your system. So I want you to picture yourself as a container full of fluid. And in that container, you have vital organs that are floating. Just keep that in mind. All right. So, we live in a toxic world. There are investigations that are currently going on autopsy of body fat in certain areas of the body. And guess what we're finding inside the body fat? What would you guess? More fat, right? No, we're finding toxins. We're finding something called POPs. POPs are persistent organic pollutants. And it turns out body fat is stepping in front of the bullet, the pollutant that is attempting to enter your vital visceral organ and kill it. And body fat is actually absorbing the blow for you. That's a strange way of looking at it, isn't it? But if you start to understand where I'm going with this, it turns out body fat is a protective mechanism that your body is initiating upon assault. So what is assaulting you? What's getting into your kids' fluids? How about chlorinated bleach? Oh, that's what we're finding. How about, Virginians, mold? That's what we're finding inside of you, inside the body fat. How about drug residue? How about viruses, Lyme's disease? How about PBEs, PBAs? Are you guys getting me? So here's a body that is accumulating all of these toxins. Your nervous system, your brain and neuromedullary systems are set up to protect you at all costs. So when the body becomes toxic, then alarms start going off, because this stuff is going right for your brain. This stuff is going right for your liver. This stuff is going right for your kidneys. Are you guys getting me here? And when this stuff reaches, it is going to trigger cancer. It is going to trigger heart disease. It is going to trigger dementia. So your body says, whoa. Start sending things to clean it up. And you have a cleanup system. That cleanup system includes glutathione, includes your immune function, includes your lymphatics, includes your blood. Those are all things that we're going to enhance in this program for a specific reason. And those things work, but the toxin levels are getting higher and higher and higher. Just look at your kids and look at how much disease we have in this country. Man, my goodness. Suicide in 8-year-olds? Come on. Cancer in 20-year-olds? Guys, you know this is happening. So this is an environment, I'm not blaming all environmental, but a lot of it's environmental. And these environmental toxins are building up. There is something called the obesity paradox. And here's what it is. There was a study done. It's a suppressed study. You won't hear about it unless you do your own studies on the internet. The suppressed study, the obesity paradox, is this. We can measure POPs in you guys. We can measure how toxic your blood is. All right? I want that POP level to be 0. How are we going to do that? I'm going to teach you how to use a cleanser. You're going to be cleansing yourself on a daily basis, and your POP levels, our goal is 0. And that's what we're going to get you to. But POPs, or pollutant, those are pollutants, persistent organic pollutants, are building up in your body. They are coming from external sources. Your body gets overwhelmed, and what does it begin to do? Instead of looking at fat as beer belly, I want you to look at it as a protector. A sponge that goes into your system and begins to soak up the POP, the pollutants. And it's going around the prostate or the ovaries. Just take a look at your numbers. You'll find out where your sponges are accumulating. It is going around your heart to protect you from the pollutants that are in your body, that are still in your body, that aren't coming out of your body. and we begin to build a protective mechanism up. More and more body fat is laid down to save your life. And here's what the obesity paradox found. A lean person with elevated levels of POP dies earlier than an obese person with the same levels of POP. How about that? How about that? Think about it. So those that are in here that are lean, if you have high POP levels, welcome to cancer. There's a lot of skinny corpses out there. Just don't think because you're lean, you're healthy. I'm going to show you how to clean this mess up. And if we do this correctly, we are then going to start subtracting body fat. Is that making sense? Okay. What happens if we could actually put something into your system, an organic cleanser, into your lymphatics, into your brain tissue, into your blood? What happens? We begin to cleanse the system. And as we cleanse the system, toxicity levels go down. You'll see it on your blood work. Young lady was sharing something with me. She goes, "You're having me eat bacon? I've already got cholesterol problems." But in reality, her cholesterol went what? It went way down, more than any statin ever took care of. Why? Because she followed this simple rule. Clean before lean. She cleansed herself, and then her body began to work at a liver level, at a lipid level, at a body fat level. Are you guys seeing how different this is? See, here's the problem. All right? Yes, on metabolic boot camp, our blood, our lymphatics, and our brain fluids get cleaned from these toxins. You start thinking faster. You start energizing. You start losing body fat. Great, right? That's the way we're supposed to be. But what happens if we went back to the old way? What happens? So, we've got body fat that is full of what? Toxin, right? And if we burn body fat, what do? All we do is release the toxin back into the system. And what does our brain do? Whoa, we just became more toxified, and more toxified, and more toxified. And then the brain goes into panic mode and starts laying down more and more body fat. It has to. That's why diets stop, and then you start putting all your weight back on. Has that happened to anybody in here? It's happened to all of you. Let's not do that again. Let's get clean before we get lean. Making sense? Right. So, yes, we'll teach you how to use cleansers. Yes, we'll teach you how to lower this centralized body fat. Yes, we want those sponges out of your body. Absolutely. But start looking at body fat differently. It is not your enemy, it is your friend. And when you begin to release it into your system, your joints are going to hurt because you're releasing mold. You're releasing Epstein-Barr virus. You're releasing toxins back into your thyroid that are already trash. So if you do it without cleansers, you are damaging yourself. And it is my unfortunate prediction on people who diet without this understanding are going to induce cancer through exercise and diet. The things that they're being told that are going to save their life is what's going to kill them if they're Americans. Because Americans' body fat is full of toxins. And if you use that as a fuel without the understanding of how to cleanse, then you will be toxifying your body even more so and damage more and more liver and more brain tissue. Making sense? It's scary when I start making sense, huh? People ask me all the time, how did you figure this stuff out? Let me share real quickly, and then we'll go into our program itself. I want to share with you my backstory, all right? Origins of MBC, toxic world, toxic womb, toxic me? My mother, there she is, the beauty. My mother, like most women in the 60s, were exposed to toxins. Do you think you are exposed to more or less toxins than my mother? You better believe it. And what about your kids? Oh, you have no idea how much more. Hers was bad. This is brutal. This is brutal. A lot more toxins in this environment compared to hers. She was exposed to toxins at her workplace. She was a head nurse at UCLA. Very bright woman. She was exposed to toxins at her home. Now, most people think cigarettes, maybe at the hospital, some type of chemical cleaning agents, right? Well, it turns out that you can actually experience toxic overload by interactions with other human beings. Did you know that? If you're in an abusive relationship, if you are in a less than healthy relationship on a regular basis, you are releasing internal toxins that your body fat has to absorb before it goes into your brain. And that is why husbands can make you fat. That is how coworkers can give you cancer. Now, it's funny, right? It's a little fun, but it's true at the same time. So what we do in this program is develop a mechanism that allows you to tolerate toxic people. You think you're going to get rid of them? I don't know if you're in a divorce or what, but I wouldn't recommend that. What I'm getting at is toxic people are always going to be in your life. But instead of allowing this negative reaction to occur and damage your body more, we're going to blunt that. We're going to put a spam filter on it. And if you walk the path I'm going to share with you, you can still remain in these relationships without the manifestation of the negative metabolism. Is that making sense? So, she had a bunch of stuff going on at home. Man, she had to deal with me. Like, I was a mess. From her food sources, from her coping mechanisms. Anybody have a coping mechanism in here? No, none of you do. The first sign of addiction is denial. Hey, listen, guys. As I told you, I'm a morbidly obese man trying to get out of this frame. All right? I got you. There are emotional leaders in here. All right? We deal with stuff, sometimes inappropriately, and I'll show you how to deal with those coping mechanisms and make them less influential on your life. These toxins affected her health and my brain and body development. Didn't think about that, did you? I do. UCLA, Child Neuropsych Center, Ward A West. Lock that door so they can't get in. Yeah, this is where it gets ugly for you. Before the age of 10 years old, autism. Don't give up on an autistic person. If you got autism in your family, don't give up on them. There can be restoration of brain function. I'm proof of that. Liver disease. This is before 10. In fact, my pancreas in my medical notes is described as the pancreas of a 50-year-old alcoholic. And I was in the hospital at 10. I was in the hospital for 2 years. Pancreatic disease, intestinal disease. After the year 18, so this is now after a year of I started dealing with alcoholism. I had an aneurysm. I was dealing with obesity. I was a suicide risk. Now, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on me, because, I'm cool and all. It's all good, but it's a struggle every day for me. What I want you guys to understand is don't give up on people in your life, especially addicts. Because what you're going to find out about an addict, an out-of-balance brain and body will attempt to balance itself by developing inappropriate relationships with external substances. So, some of you can have a smoke and say, well, that's so easy to put that down, I don't want that. And another person who is out of balance in the brain will be linked to smoking for the rest of their life, or feel like they are. What we do in this program is balance things. And when we begin to balance things, those inappropriate relationships begin to change. They become more appropriate. I tell people it's okay to have a drink. Just make sure that drink doesn't have you. It's as simple as that. As simple as that. So, this is something we really need to understand when we're dealing with fatigue. Anybody just got tired and ate a whole pizza? Oh yeah, absolutely. Don't fret about that. Don't throw yourself under the bus. Okay? That happens. That happens. People call that emotional. I'm actually going to show you it's more of a fatigue state. And what I'm going to give you is more energy. And when you have more energy, you're going to resist stuff at night. That's where it all happens, isn't it? At night. Yeah. And when you have the energy in your brain, you're going to be able to do. By the way, here's the cool thing about this program. It's 3 days. If you can follow me for 3 days, you will get where you want to get. And you will be able to repeat that over and over again without having attenuation occur. You guys know what attenuation is? Attenuation is where things that used to work stop working. That doesn't happen on this program. If you're willing to follow me on this program, I'll show you what happens with it. It's really cool. And here's the cool thing about this program. There's a back door. There's an exit plan. You need an exit plan. You're not going to do this program for the rest of your life. You're going to back out of it without putting all your weight back on. And you're going to learn to keep you and the kids clean. Turns out clean blood and clean lymphatics, boy, you can handle anything coming your way. So, there is a way back. MBC, that's Metabolic Boot Camp, provides the map back to your original design. Our path back to the original design starts by looking into our metabolic mirror. You can learn a lot from the dead body, as long as it's not your own. Hello, I'm Dr. Thomas McLeod-Botter, and I want to share with you an amazing clinical discovery called the metabolic mirror. By looking into this mirror, you will be able to discover the cracks in your own genetic foundations without the need of invasive or expensive genetic testing. The new knowledge that the mirror will provide you will allow you to patch these cracks before they manifest in you as a devastating disease. Some claim that I've cracked the code, unlocking an amazing metabolic life. Others, they simply claimed I've cracked. I'll let you be the judge of that. You see it in your mother. You saw it in your father. With the new knowledge the metabolic mirror will provide you, you will be able to steer clear of their devastating destinies. It's now time for you to look into your own metabolic mirror. It's now time for you to take the test. So, in my travels, I became more and more diseased. I was put on an experimental formula called TPN. The doctor at the time, UCLA, genius, metabolic genius, he disconnected my pancreas, he disconnected my liver, he disconnected my entire digestive tract and put me on something called TPN. I was the first patient to go on it, meaning I was being fed through my vein, not just an IV, everything that my body needed. At least we thought. I began to unravel at a genetic level. My hair fell out, my skin fell off, and my teeth fell out of my head. This is now 10 and a half, 11 years old. They're like, whoa, pulling back off that TPN. TPN, it turned out, was missing specific amino acids, specific trace minerals. They didn't know it at the time. I was moved to the from the psych center to the medical center because my pancreas then finally collapsed and failed. Turned out, they didn't know this, but the digestive tract was affecting my brain chemistry, making me depressed, making me anxious, making me suicidal. They thought that was all up here, but it turned out my digestive tract was the primary concern. And they began to treat me medically, and I began to get better. They didn't know why, other than they just disconnected my digestive tract and started working with me on that level. I began to get better. I was actually released from the hospital with supposedly a cure, but it turns out I wasn't cured. I had a whole lot of imbalances going on from what was called toxic womb syndrome. Remember my mom? There were things that had changed in my body, and those imbalances began to express themselves pretty violently. You saw how that happened as I became, 16, 17, 18 years old. I began to become involved in relationships that were inappropriate, but they were there to try to balance me back out. Alcohol was one of them. Food was another. So these are things that I wasn't aware, and neither were the doctors. But as I progressed, I got to a point where I just didn't want to go on. I became so depressed, I became suicidal. And one day I was looking in the mirror and I was like, this is it. I'm done with this. Absolutely done. And there was an epiphany that occurred. And I'm not going to get into that story because that's another whole 3-hour story. But the epiphany was this. There's a way back. There's a way back. I was just so far off my genetic and epigenetic path. But there's a way back to original design. You're seeing the manifestation in front of you. Well, a lot of people can't believe I'd be diagnosed autistic or pancreatic disease or obese or alcoholic. It's not, your belief is not required. What you know is there's something wrong with society. There's something wrong with our kids. And you're going to start to sense that in yourself. And you're going to realize there's something more than what you've got going on right now. And you can change. If I can change, you can change. So I'm going to show you this path back. But when I first brought it, I was so excited. This was almost 15 years ago. And I would talk to groups like this, and then they became 100 and 200 and 300 people. And I would just be screaming. And I'd be going, dude, you're going to die. You got a crease in your head. Late dark circles under the ice. And I figured people wanted to know that they were going to die prematurely. 2 things happened. Neither one of them were good. One, the first guy would say, blank you, Dr. Botter, and walk out. And he would die prematurely. The other one would receive the first part of the message and accelerate her death process. And by the way, I was never wrong. I was always right when I said, who wants to know who's going to be the next person in this room to die? Who wants to know? And I was never wrong. Ever wrong. Hey, wow. That was something special. Here's the truth. That's words of death out of my mouth. And words of death are not what you need. So I scrapped it. I was rejected. I went back. I'm going to warn you guys right now. You're going to learn about manifestation. Manifestation isn't concepts, isn't something cute that you read in a book. It's manifestation. It physically is changing you. And when I tell you manifestation is going to occur in your body if you walk in obedience, it's crazy, it's scary, and it's good. So, here's manifestation. Desperate people were MBC early adopters. You want to know why? Desperate people do desperate things. They'll listen to a psychopath like me. Because they're going to die. You know, my people that I started with in that room right there are either hospice or stage 4 cancer patients. This poor child, a 5-year-old necrotic lesion eating into her skull, eating into her brain. You see what it did to her hair? All right? Surgeon tells her, I'm sorry, I did 2 surgeries. Her head is caving in. That's it. There's nothing you're going to do about it. There's nothing more we can do. She comes in here and says, what do? I said, here, stuff this paste into the thing, into your lesion, and drink this drink. She goes, okay. Because that's what happens to desperate people. 5 years suffering necrotic tissue, 2 failed surgeries, eating into the scalp, skull, and soon brain. Beyond the cure from pathology to potential, from potential to pillar A customized neurometabolic program was created for her after 16 cycles. What is a cycle? It's a week. Say this with me. I can do anything for 3 days. I don't believe you.
I can do anything for 3 days.
But guess what? You can do anything for 3 days. And I'm going to teach you a program that we use to do some really cool things in your body for 3 days. And then the 4 days are yours. Have fun. And then you're going to do it again and again and again until you reach what you are looking for, or what you think you're looking for. But this program is going to open you up to something so much more than weight loss. To look at this program as a weight loss program is like looking at the Mona Lisa and saying, nice frame. You're missing so much. There she is now.
Wow, awesome.
Notice her hair. Not only the lesion, notice her hair. We call that proof in the pudding. It's also known as manifestation. Oh, we can sell you snake oil, can't we? We can promise you everything. You guys have bought supplements, and you've done this, and you've done, and look at you now. Look where you are now. I want manifestation for everyone in this room. And if you're willing to walk in obedience, you will be blessed. But it's scary to walk in obedience, especially when a psycho is telling you to stop brushing your teeth with fluoride toothpaste and start stuffing stuff up into your nose. Or wherever else it takes. It's your turn then. It is now your turn. You're going to have to come to, right now, you're going to have to decide, am I going for it? Are you?
Yes.
We'll find out. We'll find out. 10 weeks. I want you to stay with me for 10 weeks. I want you to invest. I want you to invest some money. That's scary. If you do these things, you will have somewhere between a 10 and 15% reduction in VBF with no exercise, meaning you're going to be lighter after these 10 weeks. You will be off statins, blood pressure medication, sleep aids, and painkillers. You will have a 2 to 6% increase in bone density. Your teeth will be 3 to 5 shades whiter. You will have faster download speeds. Probably my favorite thing about this program is not the 66 pounds of lard. That's off of me. It isn't that the dementia dots have disappeared all but one. It isn't the liver disease that I had is no longer I have. It isn't the pancreas that was dying off that is now fully functional. It isn't any of those things. It is the booming energy I have at 4:30 in the afternoon and how well my brain works. I now have consolidated memory, which is where I can connect things I've learned 50 years ago to things I'm learning now, and it makes sense. You guys can't go back 3 meals. What'd you have for lunch on Tuesday, honey? Here is the most beautiful thing about every one of your brains. There is a cave inside there that is full of gems that you have learned through experience and through people that have loved you, that have shared with you very deep and profound concepts. You can't remember any of them, but they're still there. The reason you can't remember is the tunnel to the cavern is full of silt and debris. And I am going to show you how to clean it out. And when I do, you are going to have access to those memories. Now, some of those memories are negative. So you're going to have to be big boy and big girl, especially at night with a PM blend, because it's going to open stuff up. But don't worry about it. You're going to get through it. I work with post-traumatics all the time. You're going to get through that. And then you're going to start remembering and thinking. You're not thinking anymore. You're just existing and doing a to-do list. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I want you to start enjoying your thought process again and start to think. That'll get us out of a problem. America is no longer thinking. They're just reacting. They're just reacting to the next social media release. Start thinking again. We'll open you up. You guys know what I'm talking about. You guys call it brain fog. It's terrible. These are your expected upgrades and advantages. Upgrades, reduction in fine lines and wrinkles. That's important. Actually, it is. More late afternoon energy. That's my favorite. Less intense sugar cravings. Low to no appetite sensation. Reduction of age spots. Whiter teeth, faster brain speed. Advantages when you're on the program. You will heal insanely quick. That's why we put pre and post surgicals on this. 35 to 50% increase in work capacity. Any of you guys that are production monkeys are going to love this program. You're going to pump out some work when you're on this program. But your heart rate isn't going to be speeding. Your blood pressure isn't going to be up. You are going to be generating massive amounts of capacity at a cellular level because we're cleaning up your system. And when you get you clean that system up, the exhaust pipes start blowing out, and away we go. Away we go. Predictable labs without perfect eating. I have people that have already gone through this program, and they will tell you, I fell off the program. That's part of the program, is to fall off the program. What we want is to make sure you don't block an artery when you're having your fun with your pizza or your M&Ms or whatever it is. We want to enjoy our foods. I told you, I love food. I just don't want to look like I love food. I love the fact that it looks like I'm 2 hours in the gym. But I don't want to spend 2 hours in the gym. I want to spend 2 hours on the couch. Okay? I enjoy leisure. What I want for you guys is a sustainable process, not having to be perfect. Protection from dementia, certain cancers, and heart disease. Delayed decay rates, predictable labs without perfect. How do you know if somebody's lying to you? Ladies, you're married. How do you know if somebody's lying to you? Now, they can look up and to the right. They're going into that creative mode, this confabulation, fabrication. You can hook them to a lie detector, see skin changes, heart rate elevations. They're lying to you, right? What happens if the person so believes the lie that it has become the truth to them? How could you tell them? Well, they would test as if they're not lying on a lie detector, right? It has become that ingrained in their brain that the lie is now a truth. How do you know then if they're lying? It's in the Bible. Does anybody know the answer? It's real simple. You will know them by their fruits. Huh? You'll know them by their fruits. You will know them, in this case, by their rotted fruits. 1 in 10 children being born today have toxic brain injuries that can lead them to becoming one of our next school shooters. Take a look at these kids. Do you think this is just happening out of chance? I work with the pregnancy center. I want you to help me with those women. Their nutrition is not perfect. Many of them are addicted, and many of them are in abusive relationships. Why does that matter to you? But it shouldn't matter to you, right? If you're not spiritually developed, there's just another person. Now, if you're spiritually developed or spiritually aware, it really matters to you because you'll have maternal instincts and just, or fraternal instincts, and that does matter. Here's why it should matter to you, whether you're spiritually developed or not. That child coming out of that womb is going to be sitting in a theater next to your kids. And if that brain did not develop correctly, they are going to have grandiose, delusional disorders. Suicidal in nature, but suicide is no longer an individual, intimate act. It is a mass effect. That's what you're dealing with in this society. And it's becoming more and more prominent. Autism used to be 1 out of every 10,000. Now it is 1 out of every 66. In Virginia, it's 1 out of every 44. An autistic child is cute and quirky at 4 and 5. At 19 and 20, they are hyper-violent and impulsive. Sorry, I know. I'm one. 50% of the Americans over the age of 65 will need long-term care. That is half the people you know. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. Think about the people that you know. You can open them now. Half of those people are going to end in a nursing home. Half of them. That's a lot of people. 50% of those people will be abused in the facility, either emotionally, physically, definitely financially. 80% of their life savings will be drained in less than 16 months in long-term care. Did you know that? That's where you lose all that money. They will become burdens to their families financially, physically, and emotionally. I know some of the people in this room. I know if their parents went down like that, and their parents are going to go down like that, they won't put them in a nursing home. You want to know where they're going to put them? They're going to move them in with them. And do you know what's going to happen to that family if they do that? The divorce rate goes through the roof in those situations. Number two, once the home insurance finds out there is a dementia patient on board, it's over. It's over. Insurance goes through the roof. But here's the worst thing about what I'm talking about with elderly parents that are failing, if you choose to do that, is this one right here. The caregivers of a cognitively impaired are themselves 10 times more likely to develop dementia. Did you know that? So if you are caring for a parent or a loved one that is declining in the brain level, you are 10 times more likely to develop dementia yourself. Is dementia contagious? No, it's not. The brain, there she is exposed to a toxic environment for more than 6 months. She changes. Now, what toxic environment would that be? Have you tried to take care of declining parent? One of my goals is to make sure you're not the declining parent. And there's a whole lot of evidence to show you can change your destiny. But half of you right now are headed towards that nursing home, and half the people in your life, statistically, including your children. We're going to change that. We're going to start in the womb. That's what we're working with at the pregnancy center. What do you think we're doing with the pregnancy center? Well, we adjust them to ensure neurological health. We do that. We take care of the bill. What else do you think we do? You see that red fluid? You're going to be drinking that. That's the AM blend. There is another fluid that you'll be consuming. That's the PM blend. You're going to be using glutamines. You're going to be using amino acids that cleanse and repair and restore. That's what we put into a pregnant woman, because you can take a toxic womb and make it less toxic. And guess what comes out of the oven? Cleaner bread. Cleaner bread. A better baby. A healthier baby. Right? You think that's going to change society? It's already changing for the negative. You guys can stop that and become part of something bigger. Continuity drugs cripple long-term exposure, leading to frail, fragile, dependent patients. How do you know if you're on a continuity drug? It's very simple. These are the people that end up in nursing homes if you're on blood pressure medication, cholesterol-lowering meds, antidepressants, anti-inflammatories, acid reflux drugs. Our goal is to help you, not just throw your drugs out. Our goal is to help you get to a point where your doctor is very, very happy with your physiological responses, aka your lab work looks great without drugs. Now, if you're going to a doctor that wants to keep you on drugs, when we get you there, you're going to the wrong doctor. How do you know if somebody's lying to you? You will know them by their fruits.
My name is Jacqueline O'Shea from Dublin, Ireland. You have cut me open 3 times, putting 3 rods, 19 screws and bolts in a cage in my spine.
My name's Brian Stone. I was a medical mess. I was on every prescription medicine you could think of. I went to an immunologist, checked my immune system, and it was at 0. He told me he was treating AIDS patients who had a better immune system than I did.
My name is Dave Stanley. I was probably 100 pounds overweight. I've got a 6-year-old son, and before boot camp, he'd say, "Hey, Dad, let's go outside and play." I'm like, ugh.
My name is Patricia Carey. Before boot camp, I was on crutches. I was hit head-on in May of '06. I broke over 12 bones below my waist. I was on a lot of medication, about 18 to 20 medication. I started boot camp after my 7th surgery. My name is Debbie Elkins. I have been overweight for some time, very fatigued. I was having asthma attacks every day. I said, you know, God, I'm tired. I have got to find something because I know it's not your will for me to remain this way.
My name is David Camden. I was diagnosed with bipolar when I was 18. I've been on medication this stuff for almost 20 years.
I have been working the boot camp protocols for the past year. I have no pain. I've lost over 36 pounds. You know, from taking the blends too, it has tightened up a lot of my skin, a lot of the wrinkles. I notice up here, and I've looked at different photos, and I look back, wow, I have so much more energy throughout the day. My mind is more alert.
Fortunately, by the grace of God, I found Dr. Tom, and we got that straightened out. I'm a police officer.
On the second round of boot camp, I hit a goal. I lost 105 pounds.
I was able to get off the blood pressure medication. My cholesterol, I had my labs done, was 62, my triglyceride 47. And my docs looked at this and going, what did you do? And when I told her about it, she said, bring me some information on that. I'm gonna start sending people out there.
I have not had an asthma attack in a year. I am not on any medications. My blood pressure is down, no medication for blood pressure. And it's made a life change completely. I can sleep. I was never able to sleep before, and I'm able to sleep now. And I just thank God for what He's done in my life, and thank God for Dr. Botter. I have lost almost 80 pounds, and I'm down 12 dress sizes.
I started in January with boot camp right away, and the AM blends and the PM blends and all the other supplements that I do take. And I had an x-ray done in May, and that hip has grown back. That bone is back. I also have to go in and have the 8th surgery this summer. It's a good thing. My bones have grown back so well. And I have to have hardware removed out of my right ankle. And I just feel so much better. And I'm off of all meds. I don't take any.
My energy level is out of this world. I've been accused of being on drugs at work. And you can eat, you're not feeling hungry. It's a real easy program to stay on.
This program, this boot camp, does everything from cholesterol to your brain chemistry to everything. Basically, it'll put your body back to where you were when you were a teenager.
I've never met a man that loves people like he loves people. His heart is pure. His heart is to see the sick be healed.
Dr. Tom, I thank God for you.
Thank you for giving me my health back.
A total transformation, really. You can't really thank the guy enough, you know, I mean,
No, you can't.
I just, he gave me a quality of life that I didn't have before. And he's a very humble, very modest guy. He'll say, look, you did this, and you did it with help from God. You didn't. And I said, yeah, but you were the messenger, bro, and I really appreciate that.
So, I want you to join me for these 10 weeks. This is the first course, first class, to actually have our coaching system connected to you, all right? And that's part of your program, that's part of your cost that you've already paid. And that is a system. My team has created a workbook that is fantastic. They've also created a system of texting and emails that will take everything that you want, a lot of information. You just sat here for almost 2 hours and got downloaded a ton of stuff. Take a step back and relax. We're gonna start with brushing your teeth, okay? Simplicity is the only way to move forward on this. But for those that wanna learn more about this program and get into it more in depth, we're gonna send you video and we're gonna send you information and blog connections. Help yourself. For those that are like my wife, all she cares about, tell me what to eat, tell me when to eat it. And if I'm getting results, I will continue to do what you're doing. That's what we'll do, right? I am going to ask you to trust me. That is very difficult. I just explained to you many different things that are very iconoclastic. I'm telling you, there's stuff that's gonna be hard for you. That's faith. You're gonna have to put faith in me. That's a scary thing to do when it's another human being, because they're gonna let you down every day and twice on Tuesday. Okay, sorry, it's absolutely true. And I'll do that to you as well. But I can promise you one thing. I'm pumped up about what is possible in your life. And I want you to join me in what I'm doing. I know it's sustainable. I know it works. However, you're going to have to invest. We've got a survival kit ready for you. I know some of you already have it. But we have a survival kit ready for you. It is for you only. It is what you need 10 weeks, supplementation-wise. All right? That kit, to thank you for your trust in putting into us what we're doing here, we are going to use probiotics. Those are free for you today in that kit. You also get a nice mug in that kit, so you can make up your teas and think about it. You know, it's kind of cool, these mugs. They're really cool. I like them. I make up my tea, red Korean ginseng with the AM blend for me and my wife in the morning. I get into a ritual with that. And that's what I want for you guys. Things, small choices that you make huge, huge manifestations in the long run. So stick with me, 10 weeks. The program itself, hardcore, 3 days. So you're gonna have to choose 3 days in a row. It's gotta be 3 days in a row. It doesn't have to be Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I present it Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday because that's what Americans are used to. Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday is their first 3 days of their week. We'll start slow. First 2 weeks, you're just gonna get your ducks in a row. That's all you're gonna do. You're going to go and find red Korean ginseng tea. Don't worry, don't write it down. It's already written down for you. We also have links. It's called Amazon Prime, right? A lot of these teas that we're going to use are going to be used in very specific sequences for very specific reasons. Majority of them, other than the red Korean ginseng, Kroger, Walmart. I'm a Walmart kind of guy. I want you to be able to find this stuff and, you know, at reasonable prices. The kits themselves, this is not a sales technique. We can't keep the stuff on the shelf. See that stuff right there? That's it. It doesn't exist after you guys take it today. So get your kits today, because I cannot promise you you will have them tomorrow, because anything left over, guess where it's going? To people already on this program. Because we had a 6-week delay on our shipment, and that was hell on earth. Hell on earth. 3,000 phone calls telling us how terrible I was. And I realized the cool thing about that, stuff actually works. It actually makes a difference. I had a little joke. I didn't tell these people because they wanted my head. Okay, but like a week before that, 2 weeks before that, I was sitting around with my team. They were talking about marketing. I'm not much into marketing, okay? But they wanted to know what should be the phrase associated with Metabolic Boot Camp. And I was kind of tired, and I said, I want to get out of the meeting. And I said, oh, here's my contribution. We hope your life sucks without our products. I walk off, and literally 2 weeks later, we don't have a product. And people start to experience an unclean life. Because I'm sorry, you live in a toilet bowl. You can try to get rid of all this stuff. Your pipes are made out of PVC. You're breathing mold as you walk out this door. Sorry. And it's not getting better. It's getting worse. That's why you see it in your kids. They're getting sicker, aren't they? Earlier, aren't they? Hello? So, we need to take a shower. We need to cleanse. You're planning to live in America? You're probably going to find yourself after this program figuring out your own cleansing mechanisms. And that's cool, because that's easy to do. So, please keep that in mind. I'm asking a lot out of you. I'm asking you to trust me right now. Trust me. You invest in you, I need you to help them. A portion of this process goes to them. And who is them? That is the pregnancy center. Those are the people that we care for, no cost. We are not government subsidized. In fact, you want to know what the government told me? Stop doing programs that cause longevity and wellness in your patients. To Medicare. I have the paper if you want to see it. We will not reimburse you for any services that extend the patient's life or cause a wellness phenomena in it. Folks, that's the country you live in. The young ones, it's only going to get worse for them. It's only going to get worse for them. Guys, let's not be a downer either. I'm no socialist. I love America. I can't wait to get to Wendy's in just a second after I'm done here with you guys. But I know what to order at Wendy's, and I know how to clean up after Wendy's. I'll have my AM blend, which I already, did you guys notice this? Huh? And that's what we're looking to do to your brain fluid. And that's what we're looking to do to your blood. And that's what we're looking to do for your lymphatics. And that's exactly what's going to happen internally, whether you eat a Wendy's burger or not. And that's a realistic way of living if you plan to live in America. So, also, apple cider vinegar down the pie hole after a big meal. That's one of our cheats. Yeah, you're like, I ain't doing that. That's okay. The AM blend, the PM blend are going to help you with that because it has some of the constituents of the apple cider vinegar that are built within its molecular structure. Because we know if it tastes bad, even if it cures cancer, you will not drink it. If it takes too much outside of your norm, outside of your financial norm, outside of your time norm, you're not going to continue it. That's why we have created this program. It's sustainable. It's sustainable. So, I need you to help. Let's do this. Let's do this. Clean before lean. An already toxic system cannot process any more toxins until it's first made clean. All right, guys. You have been sitting there for almost 2 hours. You need a break? Take a break. Those that need to use the bathroom, those that need to have a smoke, outside, please. That's all right, that's all right. I'm going to have one myself. Just kidding. If you guys have any questions for me, up to, not about the program, because we're about to go into the program, up to this point, shoot away. I'm right here for you.
Antibiotics in milk?
Antibiotics in milk. I had a patient tell me, I have never used an antibiotic. My parents hated the medical profession. I was raised antibiotic-free. I am antibiotic-free. No, you're not. No, you're not. Tyson uses antibiotics as they treat their chickens. Tyson uses bleach and sprays down the chickens, alive and dead. If you've ever had a McNugget, if you've ever had a chicken nugget, you have already had an antibiotic, a steroid, and bleach put into your system. You're not getting away from this stuff. Antibiotics in milk, absolutely. What we recommend, we are not anti-milk per se, we're anti-chemicals within the cow. How do you make a cow go from 2,000 gallons to 50,000 gallons a year? You stimulate them with antibiotics and you stimulate their milk production with steroids. The company that we recommend is a place called Homestead Creamery. Oh, yeah, you guys know it?
Yes.
More power to them. I hope that helps. I'm not saying get rid of milk, but I am going to tell you, we would rather you use during the program coconut milk or almond milk. I'll tell you exactly the type and the brand because there are chemicals being put into healthy foods that make them unhealthy. Anybody else?
What is actually ketones that you was talking about earlier?
What is ketones? Ketones are when your body begins to break down fat and turn it into an energy packet called ketones. Ketones are produced when your body is in starvation mode, and starvation mode, the body starts to break down body fat rapidly. Ketones are used for energy. The problem with a ketone is it's got a razor blade inside of it. That razor blade damages, it doesn't actually have a razor blade, that razor blade damages the kidneys as your body is trying to process the ketone. That is why medical profession is freaking out about diets that create ketones. By the way, some of you in here want to drop a bunch of body fat, correct? Right? Some of you, 20, 30, 40, 70, 90, whatever. Here's the deal. You don't have to be in ketosis to lose body fat. Don't ever let anyone, including people on the ketogenic diet, convince you that you're not losing body fat if you're not in ketosis. You do not have to be in ketosis to lose body fat. In fact, I don't want you to ever enter into ketosis because I care about your kidneys. Anybody else? We good to go? Yeah, relax, take it easy. We'll start back up at 12 o'clock.
Thank you all.
I don't want to badmouth the ketogenic diet. I like some of the mechanisms. What concerns me is they're not giving their clients any form of cleanser to protect them from the toxicity, not only of the ketogenic, but also the ketogenic diet is going to mobilize this body fat, which may have work in a blooming pit of toxins. Well, guess where some of those toxins are right now? You stopped working, but they're still in you. People don't get that. They don't get a chance. Our bodies accumulate the toxins. So when you start on this program, you're going to start to express those toxins into your blood, into your joints, into your brain. You think you're going to feel better? No, you're going to feel worse at first. That's why we need you on cleansers as you go in. You're handling body fat. I want to start looking at body fat as a toxic substance. We got you hooked up for the next 10 weeks if you need. You are. Perfect. A lot of you guys already have it. Is your elevated number the top one or the bottom one? How are you doing with God? How are you doing with your brain? Well, that's why your blood pressure is because your heart is your brain is something. Okay, so that something is causing you to be in fight or flight all the time. So you fix the brain chemistry, you fix your blood pressure. Do you take Gambling? Gambling has got an between when the gallons up, so that's about 500 grams additional. In your gambling is work your way up to about 3 grams. By the time you're 3 grams, you're no, not but I'd rather you eat more sophisticated if you start
It doesn't say how much caffeine. It's probably just like regular coffee.
coming from stems from the brain. Yeah, and you bring your alpha levels up. Once you get that level, that's therapeutic for you. You'll get some shortness of breath. You'll get a little bit weird, but it's only 3 points. And you're I'm not not that I've seen, but a lot of my clients have used the hemp extracts. It seems to be helpful, especially because it makes it good. Some people tell you that the purity of the product as well as the percentage of the active ingredient will potentially affect its results in your body. So keep in mind. What's up, else? 5 minutes, guys. 5 minutes. There's a question with regards to red Korean ginseng. When you go on the internet for that, what you're looking for is the 6-year-old red Korean ginseng. Korean ginseng tea is going to help you infused with an AM blend. It is going to help you reestablish appropriate energy, especially later in the day, and that's going to be huge for you ladies. It also will begin to reduce the back fat that starts to develop over the kidneys, which is really cool too. But the ginseng itself, there's so many different types of ginseng. The one that you're looking for is red Korean ginseng, and it is 6 years. It takes 6 years to make this stuff, and then they have to they basically let the soils rest for 6 years. A very interesting process, and it has enough ginsengamide inside of it to cause the effect that we're looking for, which is blood sugar stabilization and adrenal support. Combine that with your AM blend, you begin to get your what are called epinephrine and norepinephrine levels regulated. You'll start feeling a whole lot better. You won't need those stimulants to get through the day. Yes, ma'am.
I tried a red ginseng.
Red Korean ginseng? Yes, ma'am.
And I don't know what I didn't let it sit long or what, but it just felt like there was needles and pins
In your stomach?
in the stomach.
The red Korean ginseng is not a tea bag. It is a crystallized root that has been pulverized, and you put it into hot tea. Then you put a little bit of your AM blend into it. I put it in cold to one of my AM blends, thinking, oh, I just saved some time, and it ripped my gut apart. So,
You can boil that though, right?
yes, it's like you're creating a cup of tea, and you're going to put it in hot. It will dissolve, and then you'll put a. I'll teach this to you guys. We're getting a little heavy.
Yeah,
A little heavy.
Yeah, I boiled mine.
Anybody else? Any other questions? Because we're about ready to roll.
You get the full effect.
I would. Yeah. There's a question about the couple here is kind of just coming back into metabolic boot camp, and people so do I just go to a level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4? That's the cool thing about this program. You can choose, but the first 2 weeks, it's so easy. All you do is start to introduce the substances clean before lean, and that's what you're going to be doing right now. So I would recommend that they actually start as if they've never done it before. That's the cool thing about this program. What happens at the end of it, when you reach where you want to reach, you do this. 3 days, a week, you're going to see aggressive manifestation occurring. That may be in your blood pressure, that may be in your lipids, that may be in your brain chemistry, that may be around your waist, that may be with your blood sugars. But if you then take it to 3 days every 2 weeks, you will move slowly forward in manifestation. If you go 3 days every month, then you will maintain without much effort. Making sense? So we want you to be able to back off this program. Right? Now what I find works the best is finding that nice, healthy rhythm where you're now no longer on the program, but you are not putting bleach back in, you're not using antibiotics in an aggressive way, you're keeping that out, your body's doing really well, and then you come back and do something like this maybe once a year. Just like kind of like a spring cleaning kind of deal, and some people do that as well.
You can stay on the AM and PM.
You can stay on the AM and PM blends for the rest of your life, and you will find that your productivity, as we get older, things start to decline, and some of those things don't decline when you're on the AM and PM blend. Specifically for the AM blend, it is a true hematopoietic, which means when you take it, your blood volume goes up. Think about flow, the word flow. When you drink that AM blend, brain flow and blood flow open wide up. It is awesome. When that happens, your stem cells and your bone marrow start to chomp on that AM blend and start pumping out these huge, beautiful, oxygenated red blood cells. When you get that, whether you're a cancer patient or a mother working 16 hours a day, it is going to give you insanely good, clean energy. You do not want dirty energy. You only want clean energy. You run dirty fuel through your fuel injector, they're going to clog. That is synthetic caffeines. It's called caffeine anhydrous. Be real careful with that. You don't want to keep stimulating. You're going to burn out your adrenals. Ladies, if you burn out your adrenals, you're going to burn out your thyroid. Men, if you burn out your adrenals, you burn out your testicles. No, that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing. And welcome to the land of energy drinks. There are a multitude of energy drinks out there, and I would not recommend any of them for you. Sorry. Oh, I was drinking 6 to 8 of those a day prior to this protocols. Well, I mean, my life is tough. You meet my staff, you see the patients on my company. It's terrible, patients. Ooh. And then I go home at night. I mean, goodness gracious, got to take care of my entire house. My wife just lays around like a diva that she is. I mean, you know, 23 hours later, I go and I lay down on a bed of nails. You know, I get up, 58 minutes later, and I do the whole thing again. That's my life. But I got my plans. I'm rolling. All right, are we ready to roll? Got everybody? Didn't lose anybody? All right, look at that little baby. Little baby. That's the scariest thing, isn't it? Oh, look at those, blocking those arteries. You know, an artery can block in 72 hours. I've seen it. I had a guy come in with a heparin-filled stent. Starts having chest pain. He had already blocked it 70%. That was after post-surgical. That was post-surgical. And I'm like, my goodness. You think blocking an artery takes years? It doesn't. It's just days. It's just days. And that is why we really want to train you guys up before it's too late for you. And as important, if not more important, kids. Kids. Because boy, oh boy. So an already toxic system cannot process any more toxins until it's made clean. See that? Clean. So when our sponges, which is our body fat, cleanse up the toxin and then we burn it without cleansing the fluid, we put the toxin back in. You see where I'm going? You are in a failing system. It will always fail you over and over again. So never, ever, ever attempt to process body fat without treating body fat like what it is. Radioactive, toxic substance that needs to be handled with care. Yeah. Don't have me come and talk at a fitness center. I will ruin the business. Oh, people, hey, Dr. Potter, man, you all into fitness? Whoa, man, you got me wrong. I'm not anti-exercise. I'm anti-exercise being used for weight management. It doesn't work. It doesn't work. Now, if you do exercise for therapeutics, if you do exercise for strength gain, if you do exercise for bone density, more power to you. More power to you. So here's how it works. Mouth, bowel, blood, brain. Repeat. That's it. That's it, and repeat it. So you just go over and over and over again. Take a look at this. See this guy right here? This is you. That's our guy right here. The stomach starts here. Where am I pointing?
Brain.
Nope.
No.
I'm not pointing at the brain. Nope, that's not the mouth. What that is the sinus. The stomach starts in your sinus. So if you have chronic postnasal drip, you're getting fatter. If you're on antihistamines, you're getting fatter. Chronic inflammatory mucus production draining down the back of your throat goes into the stomach and enhances bacteria that make you obese. You didn't know you're going to lose weight through your sinus, did you? You're going to lose weight through your sinus. Basically what it says here is a filthy mouth is a fatty gut and a failing heart. Well, add a filthy sinus. So how many of you deal with sinus issues? If you're in Virginia, a lot of people do. So what are we going to do? We're going to fix the sinus. We're going to understand how important the oral cavity is, because chronic inflammatory disorders of the teeth will cause big problems in the gut. So let's fix it. Brush your teeth twice daily for 2 minutes. Sinus application. Optional. 3 parts. This is all written down for you. 3 parts coconut oil. You have this in your kit, 1 part L-glutamine. You're going to use L-glutamine for other reasons, by the way, but right now, you put that into a Tupperware container. 245, keep yourself alive. 137, straight ticket to heaven. So don't put it in the wrong container. Duh. Don't worry, guys, you're going to screw up. I screw up all the time. All right. But you know, try not to put it in the wrong. You can put it in glass tin, yeah. And just put that in your, put that in your bathroom, and you're going to brush your teeth. 2 times a day. You're going to do it for 2 minutes, and you're going to brush, brush, brush. And you're going to spit that out, and that is going to pull out toxins from you. You are going to see gum regeneration. You are going to see the tooth and enamel regeneration, and your teeth will get much whiter. It's really cool stuff. Don't tell your dentist you're doing it, because what are you also going to do? You're going to eliminate his or her fluoride. Why? I'll show you why. I'll show you why in just a second. That's scary, right? Oh, the dentist wants me on fluoride. No. No. You just do this for 10 weeks. Don't tell them. You go in, and they will be blown away by what has happened to your mouth. That itself is cool, but that's nothing compared to what we're going to do to your gut and get some of that brain function back too. So brush your teeth with MBC paste. Let me now show you how to create a powerful organic barrier for your sinuses, your oral cavity, and your upper respiratory tract. Prior to the application of our metabolic paste, we must ensure that our hands are clear and clean of viruses, bacteria, yeast, and any foreign particle. What we will use is our metabolic boot camp detox spray. We want to thoroughly clean the hands with the detox spray. Write this down. Allowing the detox spray to kill off the virus, bacteria, and yeast. 10 parts distilled water. Repairing the skin tissue with its own 1 part apple cider vinegar. Now that our hands are clear of viruses, bacteria, and yeast, 2 scoops we will now insert our metabolic paste into our sinus cavity. 1 part distilled, 10 parts distilled water. Amounts of mistakes, so let me explain it in 1 part apple cider vinegar. You will be putting 2 scoops paste into your sinuses as you push in. You will also angle down. Many people believe their sinuses are up in their heads. They are not. If we took the nose off the body, it is a tunnel straight back and slightly down. So keep that in mind as you're doing this. Crucial. We will put liberal amounts on our thumbs. We will not be putting our thumbs into our nose. We will simply put the thumbs up to the opening of the nasal passage. This is optional, but works. Go back, pinch off the nose, and massage. This will take at least 1 minute to 2 minutes for the metabolic paste to become a liquid and begin to coat the sinuses and begin to drain down the back of the throat. Again, crucial to allow that time to occur. After approximately 2 minutes, just check your sinus passage. Make sure there's no excess oil. We will blow that out, keep it clean, hygienic, and aesthetically appeasing. Now we'll apply the metabolic paste to our oral cavity. We'll be using a toothbrush to do this. We will begin to brush the teeth, but we'll emphasize the top and the lower portion of the gum. We will then tilt our heads back, and as we're brushing our teeth, I want you to massage gently the lymphatics. This will allow the metabolic paste to cycle and cleanse the oral cavity as well as the regional lymph glands. So the spray you saw me use was 10 parts distilled water, 1 part apple cider vinegar, and 2 scoops of the PM blend. You put it into a number 2 spray bottle, which are your cheapest laundry, spray bottle types. You know what I'm talking about at Walmart. That can be used for many different reasons. We have seen excellent results with cystic acne in teenagers. They just spray it down and leave it on. You guys can use it to cleanse your hands. You guys can spray it down your throats. You can use it as as a wash for the hair. What we're focused on right now, though, is developing that paste so you can stop the inflammatory process in your mouth. If you do not stop the inflammatory process in your mouth, you will continue to put on weight, even with your dietary protocols. You've got to fix the mouth. Also, your holistic dentist will tell you how important the inflammation rates of the mouth are, directly related in their opinions to the plaquing of the heart. So, that's incredibly important to start with. The battle for your gut decides the size of your butt and brain. What does that mean? Well, there is a city that lives inside of you. It's called probiotica. That's what I call it. And in probiotica, the people of probiotica are going to decide how fat you get, how smart you are, how successful you are, how much money you make. Did you know that? They live in probiotica. They're like little munchkins in there. Right? Now the problem is there's tribes that make up probiotica. And for our discussion today, there are two tribes. There is one tribe that is incredibly good at keeping your brain fast, low inflammation rate, keeping your body lean and muscular. That's one of our tribes. All right. There's another tribe. This is where we get into the bloating, fat coating. The battle for probiotica. You've got one group called Lean Leviticus, and you have another group called Fatimus Maximus. And that battle is going on right now inside of your guts. And we're going to give Lean Leviticus an advantage because the society you live in right now kills him off. You want to know how you kill off Lean Leviticus? How do you kill him off? How would you kill bacteria if you found it around your house? It's real simple. You bleach. Okay, but if you go to the doctor with a bacterial infection, what do? Antibiotic. Those are the two bad boys that kill off Lean Leviticus. And those that are bleached and use antibiotics are also obese. Did you know that? And that's exactly what's happened. We are creating a large community of people, not because of caloric content. They are not eating any more food than you are eating. In fact, they're eating less food. But they have been on antibiotics and low quality foods which are bleached for so long, it's changed them. Here is Fatimus Maximus, and here is Lean Leviticus. And they're getting together and they're going to battle. But there are certain things that feed Lean Leviticus, and there are certain things that suppress Lean Leviticus's armies. We want to feed him, and we want to make sure his army is as vigorous as possible. And we also want to suppress the number of Fatimus Maximus. So, people ask me, why would I have a bacteria inside of me that made me obese? Think about it this way. There were times where the human would go through feasts and famines, and we had no way of preserving our foods. If you did not have a large quantity of the bacteria that allowed your body to take small amounts of food and convert it into large amounts of fat, and that's what Fatimus Maximus does. She converts small amounts of food into large amounts of body fat. All right. He. Sorry, ladies. So, he does that. Well, that would, in times of famine, that would get you through it, right? That would allow you to survive. Because if you didn't have that characteristic, you would die. Here's the problem. Americans don't go through fasts. They don't go through times of fasts. They only are in times of, unfortunately, feasting, and their feasting is very high chemical levels that destroy lean Leviticus. Is this making sense?
Yes.
So what I'm going to teach you is how to actually get into a food cycle that will cause your body to get leaner and leaner and more muscular, and you'll notice that your brain function will get better and better and your hormones start to regulate. We're going to suppress fatness maximus and enhance lean Leviticus. I'm going to kind of skew it in your favor because you're probably going to cheat like I do, and you still want to look good, right? Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do. We're going to put probiotics into you that enhance lean Leviticus, and then we're going to subtract out toxins that damage him, and then we're also going to use the PM blend to suppress fatness maximus. Because if you don't win this battle, you will not keep the weight off, and your brain will get worse and worse as you age. So let's take a look. The battle for our gut. Coffee filters and tea bags. Why do I say that? One of the first things I taught you in this class 2 hours ago was bleach. Bleach destroys probiotica. It really damages lean Leviticus. Where do you find bleach? Well, most people say, well, I've had my teeth bleached. That's not what I'm talking about. That's not going to hurt you. Bleach, chlorination is found in your water. Is found in your tap water, so don't drink tap water ever again. And if you do, make sure it's being filtered Brita or Zero. There's a Zero filter over at Walmart, and it guarantees 0. Okay? Don't ever drink tap water if you're trying to lose weight, because it is bleached. Don't ever eat Tyson chicken. Write that down. Tyson chicken. Currently, Tyson chicken is bleached. They bleach the chicken during its lifespan, and they also bleach the body to cleanse it up. Yes, ma'am?
Can I ask a question about water?
Yeah.
So I've seen these high alkaline waters in the stores.
Yes, ma'am.
Is there any, it's supposed to like flush fat cells out, is there any science behind that?
What I would tell you is be very, very careful with anything that's going to put your body out of balance. And here's what I would tell you. Alkaline waters are not necessarily bad for certain types of people. The young lady asked about alkalining water. Alkaline waters are not necessarily bad for certain types of people. But if, when we test, I know this sounds terrible, when we test the colon and rectal areas of obese patients, they're alkaline in that area. If a woman becomes alkaline in the vaginal area, she will have UTIs over and over again. So you can make somebody too alkaline. We're talking about alkalinity. The pH that you'll find on our program, you'll vary between 6.8 and 7.2. In my opinion, and the opinion of the physiology responses that we're finding, positive physiology responses, that's a good place to be. That's kind of like right in the middle. It goes from 0 to 14. I hope that answers your question. So we want to be real careful. If you make your own coffee, don't use white filters. Don't use it, or you're going to kill everything we're trying to accomplish in your gut. By the way, if you get this gut right, anxiety and depression are lifted. And to lose weight is so much easier. But you are in a constant battle with antibiotics, bleach, and everything else that is going to throw your probiotic off. Now, you're going to be told, and you're going to hear, take probiotics, right? Majority of your probiotics die when they hit right here. They die. They're worthless because the acid in your stomach will kill them off. That is why we want you to be using specific probiotics that we know will make it through your system and actually have a positive effect on you. So be very careful when you're out there and everybody's telling you this probiotic and that probiotic. Most of it is junk. Most of it is junk. Does that make sense? We're going to make sure of, and I'm not supposed to tell you guys this, but I'm going to tell you anyway. October 12th, I'm going to invite you guys to a reunion. That's for like the real advanced boot campers, but you guys actually classify as boot campers if you make it through today. That course, that program I'm teaching, the advanced level living, it's called level 4 living. But what's really cool about it is we're releasing a collagen-infused product with a probiotic in it. I can't wait for you to try it. Within 1 or 2 doses, it's knocking the inflammatory state of the bowel out. When you do that, you stop the inflammatory metabolites that go into the brain that make you just mush brains. And like within a matter of a couple days on this stuff, you're going to notice a huge difference in your cognitive processing. You will also notice your gut is like beautiful. Anybody have gut problems in here? You will not lose weight until you get them fixed. Whether it's constipation, IBS, loose bowel, whatever it is, you've got to get that fixed. And by the way, those systems will then lead to depression, inappropriately diagnosed, anxiety, inappropriately diagnosed. Because it turns out the gut, the bacteria down there, create your brain chemistry. The brain doesn't create its own chemistry. The gut creates the chemistry. You'll see that in attention deficit children. They all have gut problems. Autistic children, majority of them have gut problems. We fix the gut, all of a sudden the IQ and the attention span starts going up. Not the brain. You don't fix the brain. You fix the gut. That's probably my favorite thing about what's happened to me. I focus on the gut. Turns out I have more brain cells in the gut than I thought. My wife will tell you, my head is firmly lodged in the gut, or in the butt. But with that said, she is correct. My brain function is profoundly affected by my gut health. Promise you that. Promise you that. And you'll see it in yourself, and you'll see it in your kids too. So be careful with coffee filters and tea bags. Tap water and restaurant water, watch out. I'd rather you have a shot of tequila. Sorry, I mean if you're a drinker, don't. But what I'm getting at is this. Watch it. You will start to taste chlorine in your water. If you taste it, you are ruining everything you're doing here, and you will be 6 to 8 pounds heavier the next day from tap water. Start putting 2 and 2 together.
What about well water?
Could be. I don't know.
You know,
It could be. I know that where I live, it comes out of a shared well, which is chlorinated.
well, I have mine's not, it's my well.
If that's your well, then you need to watch out for high levels of magnesium and liming process, but you should not have chlorine or fluoride